upgrades.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm back here again for another series review. This is straight from Paramount Plus. I'm talking about Special Ops Lioness. Now, the thing about this series is this is straight from Taylor Sheridan. If you've seen Yellowstone or anything from the sub-series of Yellowstone, you know that the man can write. Now, the backdrop of this is there is a Lioness program that's basically allows for a person to go deep undercover, no matter from what make or model, where they come from, whether they are a Marine, whether they're a Special Ops, whether they are Navy SEALs, but their goal is to attempt to stop, by any means necessary, a terrorist threat. And the Lioness is a female. And the interesting thing about this one is Zoe Saldana is playing the lead role of Joe. Joe is basically the person that's the task force leader, that's working on trying to make sure that the Lioness program works. Now, Leisa de Oliveira plays the role of Cruz. Cruz is a very talented new operative that has just been enlisted by Joe, and thus the shenanigans and the craziness begins. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this was great. This is a really good series. And I think the weird thing about it is that I didn't think this was going to be something that I was immediately going to gravitate towards. But I think that there's two specific reasons why this works. And the first thing I'm going to say is the way that it's written. It's written as though this has happened. Like, I don't know if this is based on the actual true story, but it feels so organic and deliberate with both of these two pivotal characters in Joe and Cruz. If you know from the very first episode what Cruz comes from, what she's done, what she's had to do to survive, and what brought her to the point to get to the Marines, you're like, wow, this is insane. But then when you see the very first episode as well, what's going on with Joe, where she's at, how she's thrived, also the sacrifices that she continuously makes, her mental state, and also on the drop of a dime, she could cause the deaths of people that she's even working with. Those two specific paradigm shifts, along with these amazing actresses, talented acting prowess, makes for some of the most entertaining espionage shows I've seen in a while. Because the thing is, back in the day when I used to look at like a show like The Shield, right? The Shield, undercover, like Big Mackey is, he's a shark, right? He's not good, but he does things towards himself. Whereas, like, if you pick like Zoe Saldana's character, Joe, for instance, just using her as a plot example, everything that Joe is doing, everything that she tries to do, it's not as though she's doing it because she wants to do it. She's doing it because she feels as though there's no other option. And she also gets orders and is told what to do and how to move. And it's crazy because a lot of the time she is manipulating her team. A lot of the time she is putting her livelihood in jeopardy, her family in jeopardy, as well as any person that's working underneath or with her. But it's unlike Vic Mackey as a character. Everything she's doing is not because she's doing it out of selfish gain. She's doing to stop the target. That's it. And I think it's crazy because Zoe does it so well. Like, you get to see her mentally break down Like she's good at her job, but oh my gosh, she loves her husband. She loves her kids so much. And it's just not sustainable. I don't know how to really describe it, because the more I kind of look at the relationship she has, just using her husband as an example, like her husband is actually he's a surgeon, and like he's always on call. He's always got a lot going on. Dave Andell plays the role of Neil, and they've got two daughters. One daughter's a little bit older, is very feisty. The younger daughter is oblivious to everything going on. But at the end of the day, Zoe's character Joe cannot be there to help him, cannot help the kids, and a lot of the times she's gone for an extended amount of time, and it's her marriage is suffering, but more than anything, I'm watching her heart start to suffer. And I think that's the most fascinating thing, because it's easier to kind of like train your brain to kind of like turn it off and move forward. And, we've seen that in a lot of different shows, but it's a difference when she's going back, going forward, going back, going forward. I personally, I'm kind of in my head trying to comprehend, like, how is she managing this household? It'd probably actually be easier for her to let this relationship completely go, because all parties are being affected, especially herself. And if she doesn't maintain who she is, at any given moment, she can get somebody killed or she can die herself. And I think that is always being played with in a very fascinating way. Also, the team surrounding her, the special ops team that she has, they are awesome. They are a amazing elite group, but they all have their own individual personalities. Do I think that throughout the course of the series that they all have their moment to shine? I think that there's certain moments they had good one-liners. Some characters had interesting things about them that I kind of picked up on, and I want to see more unpacking. The other thing about this series as well is the fact that the name, like, it's saying Special Ops Lioness, which makes me imply like Special Ops something else going to be happening. Like, by the time, if there is going to be a second season, is it going to be something completely different? Is it going to be a different op? Because one of the characters in this one, God, I'm spacing on his name. He is in it a little bit, but he kind of floats in and out because he's kind of like a ghost. And I love that a character like him, they could easily go and do a story off of him based on how they're doing like the writing for this one. Even like Nicole Kidman's character, I think that Caitlin is very fascinating of a character because of her relationship with Joe. My perception of this is, and I don't know if this is true or not, I think that Joe is the first lioness. And I think that Caitlin was the person that ran her as op. It's just something about the way that Cruz, Joe, and Caitlin roll that I feel like there's like a step by step by step. And I'm always feeling like Nicole Kidman's character is always trying to coach Joe to be where she needs to be next. And I think even in this scene right here, this is a non-spoiler review, so I'm not going to reveal anything. There's a moment with all three of them, and like, I think they're trying to assess what's the best thing, and all of them are coming from totally different vantage points. One person is in the thick of it and is damaged. The other person is doing damage control and trying to control the situation. And the other person is getting more intel from the outside, knowing that this whole operation might be messed up. And it's just always very fluid in how they're naturally going back and forth. But I'm not gonna leave our main character out of this, because Leesa playing the role of Cruz is a freaking beast. I'll give her flowers, because from the first episode, from the training, from the way she carries herself, like she moves like a soldier. Matter of fact, I don't even know. I need to go and research the actress, because she's got it. I don't know how to describe it. Like, everything about her character is so layered, so tight. What I didn't expect is for her, because the beginnings of the season, like, she's just kind of this unbreakable thing. And along the way, and anybody that's looked at, like, people that are narcs and people that go undercover, like what that does to them psychologically and mentally, they go too far. right? If you go and like use even Attack on Titan, Berto, man, went too far, you know. No, sorry, not Berto, Reiner. He went too far, right? And it's fascinating because something like that happens with her. And to see where her character was to where the end of the season it's so fascinating because they prepared her for all these other things. And this one thing they did not expect for her to break underneath. And I think that was so well written and it's such a great character. And she acts her butt off in this one. But again, this goes back to what I said that I'm curious to see if Taylor's going to be making a second season and doing like a side series, because what they could easily do, they could go and show how Zoe Saldana first gets enlisted into this program. They could do like a kind of a prequel kind of thing. They can take it from a vantage point of different characters. Heck, they got Morgan Freeman in this. Morgan Freeman is the Secretary of State. And so the fact that you got like a vet like this in there, I mean, even just off of what he's trying to do, there's a lot of things that from an infrastructure standpoint, they can really pull out of their hat with this story. Another shout out to amazing actor who's a vet in his own right. And he was just recently in, oh my gosh, Transformers Rise of the Beast. Talking about Michael Kelly playing the role of Byron. Byron, like when you first meet him, you're like, ugh. But when by the end of the season, like he is as shrewd and as important and pivotal as much as Nicole Kidman's character. Like they're all on 10 here. Like I really did like this series. And again, like I said, Layasa playing the role of Cruz, Nicole Kidman, Zoe Saldana, they all are just going and batting 1,000 in my personal perspective. And I think that without spoiling too much, I highly recommend you go and check it out from beginning to end. I think you're going to get like zeroed in. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, what is happening? And I think that every single episode, as a matter of fact, at the end of the season, I was like, I need more, bro. Like, where's the rest? But again, I really do appreciate the writing with this. Also, the way that they handle combat and training, and I mean, this is pretty rated R. Like even the ops missions, like the special ops team, like they were doing a thing, man. Like it's so good. If I had to rate this one, I'd rate it an A. A to A minus. This is one of the better series I've seen, and I can see why I got so high remarks from Paramount Plus, and hopefully they hear the call of the fans and go and make a second season and make other prequels and background series around what special ops means. Because one thing they didn't show is kind of like where the president's perspective is, because a lot of it is based on a lot of different politics and money, and I don't want to spoil too much, but there's other underlying things going on that make this a very interesting show, even if you take out all the special ops stuff, because really there's some surrounding things happening that you really kind of perceive what you think is right, and then you're like, oh no, it ain't. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell button. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace, people. Filing out the top of I can see the skyline, 50-mile radius on my timeline.